Yo, what's going on, guys? Today's video, we're going to be doing a hero review. A lot of you guys have asked about, kind of breaking down characters or my thoughts on my opinions on certain characters. And I feel like it might be a pretty good, YouTube content, a good series for the channel. Because like that kind of concept of me just kind of going over the character, their role, breaking down their abilities, good team synergy, team fight scenarios, and like how to properly build them and kind of giving my thoughts, my just kind of overall thoughts on the character. If you guys like that kind of concept, let me know in the comment section below. Like the video so I know that you guys are really interested in this and I can do more. We are going to start off with Tera. There's going to be some new characters coming down the line. We've kind of gotten almost all of the OG heroes, but these newer ones, Boris, Tera, Zinx, they're more newer to a lot of the majority of the Paragon players. And then after all that, we're going to get brand new OG Soul Leaf characters, Paragon The Overprime. So it'll be completely new for everybody. So I can go down and kind of give my honest opinions on the characters. But yeah, if you guys like that, let me know. But first, we're going to go over is going to be Tera. So Tera is considered a tank in Paragon The Overprime. That is her role in the game. You can play her in jungle. You can play her in the solo lane. Now, right off the bat, this is a little confusing. So she is classified as a tank, but with a lot of Tera's abilities, it scales with physical damage. So the game wants you to build physical damage in order to do have more use out of her kit. And we're gonna go through the abilities, but off the top, it's really confusing how Tera is. I think summarizing Tera in general, it's confusing. So first ability for Tera is gonna be Ruthless Assault. This ability you're gonna swing 3 times, and on the third swing you're gonna do bonus damage. And with this ability, again, it's gonna be physical damage. If you want to do more damage with this ability, you have to build physical items. But being that a tank, it's really weird to kind of dip in both of those parts there. Next ability is going to be the Earth Slam. This is a leap. You're gonna land onto a target. You're gonna do damage, physical damage, and it's gonna explode and slow them, and doing another set of physical damage. Again, this ability will get stronger the more physical damage you have in the game. Tera's third ability, the right click, is Counter Guard. This ability you block incoming damage. You're going to give yourself a shield and you're going to deal damage and push them back and slow them for a certain amount of time. This ability actually does scale with defense, so it's 100% defense that it scales with, making it the only ability in her kit that actually scales with defense items. So again, Tera, it's a little bit complicated. It's a little confusing on how the design that they want her to go with. And then Tera's ultimate. This is the ability that kind of just makes or breaks Tera for me here. But Tera's ultimate, so once you use it, you remove all debuffs. You create a cage around you and yourself, and you trap in either your enemies or your allies, so they can't get in, they can't get out. You remove all debuffs. You're going to gain a shield, and you get crowd control immunity for 5 seconds. Now, this is the main thing that makes Tera mid for me. Like her overall kit, everything that combines, she's a really mid-tier character. This ability, it sucks. I just flat out say it sucks. It's a really bad Decker wall. So with her, whenever you ult, there's a little bit of delay when it can deploy, so you can miss it sometimes unless you're right onto that person. They can miss it. If your allies are in there with you, they're trapped in there. They can't leave. If your team is on the outside and you're trapped in with somebody else or with the enemy team, they can't do damage. They can't use projectiles. There's no damage that can go in or go out. Now with this ability, there are other characters that can use her ability really well, and we'll go over pairings in the feed later on in the video. But one good pairing is like Gadget. Gadget could drop her ult on top, so that makes it really useful. But other than that, it's really, in some scenarios when you're team fighting, you kind of miss up your team, right? If you're trying to ult somebody, or if your team is trying to kill somebody, and you could miss up your team by ulting that person and negating any kind of damage from your enemy team, for your allies. Or you could, end up killing your teammates by if you ulting and you trap them in when they're with the enemy because they can't escape. So this ability, it's really tricky. I don't like the concept of it. There's some things that we can probably maybe discuss to maybe improve on and make it a little bit better. But overall, Tera's kit, it's wonky. It's weird to me. Her Q and her E scale with physical damage, but you're a tank, so you want to go tanky stats, right? You don't want to go, power. It'd be more suited for maybe she was a warrior, which I have tried. I've tried a warrior build on her, but it doesn't really feel that great. Tanky feels a lot better on her But yeah, with Terra's abilities, it's really weird. It's confusing. I don't really understand the direction that she wants to go with. And the ultimate just kind of, solidifies like she's not really a great character in my opinion. When I was playing Terra, I found myself using it a lot more as a escape, right? I would go in, kind of team fight, and maybe isolate somebody, and if I need to jump back and get away from the enemy team or try to protect my allies, I would go in and ult someone who's a really key target and then just leap away. You're not really gonna be doing a lot of damage while you're in the cage with them, so I would just ult, leap away. That way my team can try to not focus on that character for like a couple of seconds, right? They're trapped in there. They can't do anything unless they want to leap or blink away. They can't do anything for a couple of seconds, so it'll help my team to maybe do some damage. But overall, Terra's abilities are really weird to me. Again, confusing character. So next up, we're gonna go into hero team synergy. So Tera is good when you have a great mid laner, okay? Because it blocks a lot of projectiles, it blocks a lot of damage with her ultimate. I mentioned Gadget. Gadget's a great character that pairs well with Tera. Howitzer is a great character that pairs well with Tera. Because they have these big AoE ults that drop on top, you go in, you have that team synergy, you go in, you ult, and immediately you follow it up with the Howitzer ult, or you immediately follow up with the Gadget ult. You kind of trap those people in there, and if the enemy team doesn't have an escape, they don't have a dash, or they don't have a blink to get out of the wall, then they're kind of just taking that full brunt of that ultimate. Now, so that's really good synergy with your allies. However, the same concept applies to the enemy team. Because you are trapped in there, and if you can trap your allies, if the enemy team has a Gadget or a Howitzer, they'll just do the same thing. You ult, they'll just ult on top of you, forcing you to cancel your ult, or you just take a lot of damage and you might potentially kill your allies. I think I have seen Sparrow's ultimate go through the wall. So if you have Sparrow on your team, just like Decker Cage, Sparrow can shoot through in and out of the wall. So if you have a Sparrow on your team, I think she is probably the only ranger that can penetrate through the wall with the ultimate. So that's a couple of heroes that pair well with Tera, but the enemy team can have the same heroes and do the same thing as well. So again, just kind of a complicated character. I'm gonna give my overall ranking at the end here. Next up, we got is team fight scenarios. So team fight scenarios for Tera, she's classified as a tank, right? She's supposed to be going in, diving to the back line and kind of isolating the main target and trying to just kind of bully them. Like I said, I found myself a lot going to the back line and just ulting to keep that main damage dealer from doing damage. A great example, if Twin Blast is kind of popping off on the game, I would just go in, run it to Twin Blast, ult him, and kind of like keep him isolated for a couple of seconds while my team can probably do something to their dive or do something to the enemy team while Twin Blast is a non-factor for a couple of seconds. But other than that, that's really all that she does. She doesn't really have great lockdown ability aside from her ultimate. She has a knockback, she has a little slow. She doesn't really do a lot of damage. If you want to do damage, you have to build physical power, which is really weird because she's a tank, so she doesn't have physical stats. And as far as like building goes, because it's a little bit of a hybrid, right? You have your physical scaling, but she's a tank. So as far as builds go, what I would recommend is going Great Sword of Hurricane first. This item, it allows you to get your stat, gives you 15 CDR, which is great. You get a little bit of power early game. You can get your stacks pretty quickly with your basic attack or with your abilities. The triple hit swing, you get your stacks pretty quickly. And then from there, I just kind of go defense. But anything to just kind of counter the enemy team. You want to be a tank. I tried the full warrior build and going a physical damage, but her damage just wasn't there, and I was dying a lot quicker rather than going just a tank build with Xemia's Toy. I felt a lot better going that route. So I'd recommend just going Great Sword of Hurricane, Xemia's Toy, Shockwave, and then from there, just going whatever to counter the enemy team. So for my overall ranking for Tera, she, like I said before, she's mid. I'm gonna give Tera a B+. I think there's other characters that are really good, that are way better than she is as a tank and as a warrior, because she's kind of like a hybrid. My overall ranking will be a B+, though. She's good in the right scenarios. If the enemy team doesn't have anyone that could ult your ults pretty easily, a Gadget, a Howitzer, and your team does. Your team has a Gadget or a Howitzer that can ult with you pretty well, can team fight with you really well with those kind of ultimates, then she becomes a lot better. But other than that, she kind of just screws up a lot of your teams. I've blocked Grim ultimates. I blocked a lot of damage from the enemy team. I've isolated somebody. I look back and my team's on the outside just waiting for the walls to go down. So Yeah, she's pretty bad in my opinion. I played her a couple times and I was like, yeah, I'm kind of done. I'm done playing with her, so I'm not gonna play. Maybe I would say what they could probably do to make Terra better. It's got to synergize around the ultimate, right? We don't want her to be a same Decker cage. If anyone of you guys played Bologna from Smite, whenever Bologna ults, she drops a flag in the team fight, and there's a radius on that flag that gives you a buff. So it'd be really cool if she had the same concept where you ulted, and because you're trapping in yourself and your allies or yourself in the enemy, you get a buff or a debuff, right? You get some kind of maybe deepen stats. You get more deepen, so you get more power. She has power scaling on her abilities. Maybe she gets more power. She gets 20, 30, 40 power or something whenever you ult. So or debuffing the enemy team, taking away their power and stealing it or something like that. So something like that could kind of make her a better character. But as of right now, overall ranking for Terra is going to be a B+ for me. All right, guys, that is it for the hero review. Let me know what you guys think about it. Again, if you guys like this concept, let me know if there's anything else you would like me to add in this kind of hero breakdown. And we'll go through some heroes next. We'll probably maybe do Boris next, and Zinx is going to be on her way. And then from there, it'll be all just original Soul Leap characters. So I'm looking forward to all that, man. Yo, everyone, take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.